Samir Bangara, co-founded Qyuki with Shekhar, Kapoor and Rahman. So music is a complicated business, which is why people tend to stay away from it. So here are the problems. If you sing a cover track, you're dealing with multiple things. There is there's an underlying right that is held by a label that owns the publishing on this track. The underlying rights are typically the composition and the lyrics. Now, while YouTube has a system by which a label gets paid 8% for the underlying rights out of the revenue that is monetized. So you run a video, an ad is served on it, that ad makes some money. The label can actually claim publishing, and 8% of that revenue goes directly from YouTube to the label. So technically publishing is taken care of. However, the fact that you've now made a video on top of this track, the view that the labels take is that this is a sync right. Now this is a different right from an underlying right. The sync right doesn't have a slab structure that is laid out between YouTube and the labels. So this is now left to the artist who's performing the cover track to figure out with the label. What ends up happening is most artists do not have access to the label. YouTube's fingerprinting system, their technology, recognizes that you have sung a cover track of label X. It identifies that track to label X. Label X now through the YouTube ecosystem claims that track as theirs. And while this new track that you've created by singing a cover and you've shot the video you might have had an opportunity to part monetize, this entire piece is now claimed by the label. There is no way in the YouTube ecosystem today that you can actually split this up in a convenient way, the video right versus the underlying right, and so therefore when the label claims the track, they claim the entire piece. Most artists don't have access to the label, so then they don't end up sort of arguing this or fighting this, and this is going to be a debate and a discussion. So what ends up happening is you don't monetize at all. The label monetizes your cover tracks. It works nicely for the label because for most labels, because somebody is popularizing their catalog. If you really think of it, when a new song is launched, if you have the top popular YouTubers actually singing, covering that's a format of marketing that track and seeding it into the community. So this sort of goes along happily because the labels aren't losing anything, and the artists are actually doing this as a means to market themselves. By singing a cover, they get better discovery because people resonate with an existing track. And the more popular cover that you sing, the more sort of popular the more views you could possibly get. And so the artists see it as a marketing tool. Now, what if you could actually do all of this and still figure out a way of making it a partly monetizable for the artist? This is where we stepped in. We sub-license a series of tracks from the record label and we make them available to talent, and we do a commercial deal. We've done a commercial deal with Universal, and that now enables the artist to pick a song, make a cover of it, and actually monetize it. So when the YouTube ecosystem gets picked up as a cover of belonging to, let's say, Universal, we whitelist it so that it is actually claimed by the artist and the channel that we are managing for the artist, and therefore the monetization comes into this bucket. And then we could do revenue shares or whatever commercial deal that we have. So it's kind of complicated, which is why we also like it, because there is a real value that we can bring to the table outside of promoting your video. It goes well beyond that in the music realm, and I think we specialize in that space. So there's four services. I think it's a great wrap-up question. There's 4 things that we end up doing. One part is technology optimization of content, which helps the content get better discovered online. That service is given to the entire artist pool, and we don't decide who's good and who's not good. That's available as a technology solution to the entire artist bank, whether you're a comedian, a music a singer, or a cooking enthusiast, or whatever it is, or a tech blogger. The next service is multi-platform distribution. So how do I figure out Facebook video versus Twitter native versus YouTube? And so that's the, go to other platforms like the mobile stores, etc. That's multi-platform distribution. So this is a pyramid that is narrowing. So technology, multi-platform distribution. Then a subset of these artists get production support. We obviously can't produce 5,000 artists or 500 artists, so at the current moment in time. So a subset of these people are people whom we put production monies behind. Now, we're not sitting in judgment of who's good and bad. That's the fundamental difference with which we approach this. People who are actually showing strong engagement metrics, you don't have to have millions of views, but if you're able to demonstrate strong engagement metrics, i.e. likes, shares, comments, influence on social media, we would back those projects. So it's not a personal preference of a programming head at Qyuki, it's really what the crowds are telling us from consumption and technology indicating towards what your content is. So that's producing videos. And finally, some of the artists get connected with brands for brand packaged content, and they're able to monetize that. So it's technology, multi-platform distribution, production services, and brand connect. Those are the 4 buckets of the service that Qyuki delivers to talent.